visionary, an entrepreneur, a business owner. You want to make money from your passion and create the freedom that you've dreamed of. But it's slow. The income is slow, the impact is slow, and the freedom is slow. And here's the kicker. You've actually never been busier. You're working longer than ever, burning through daylight, and your family have forgotten who you are. You're tired and frustrated and you can't even sleep well at night. The business just feels so heavy, and all you ever wanted to do was just make the money you want to make doing the things that you want to do. And that's where I come in. Hi, if we haven't met yet, my name is Dr. Storme, and I'm the host of the Business Acceleration Podcast, where we shift your business from heavy to light, time poor to time abundant, and from income lack to income growth. We're going to achieve it together with my 20 years experience as a psychologist, helping people just like you to break through their barriers. And we're going to throw in a little of the woo as well. So thank you so much for pushing play today. Let's begin. Welcome to another episode of the Business Acceleration Podcast. This is a topic that is so dear to my heart, and it's all about why you absolutely do need a coach. And for me, this is kind of like, when you find the perfect partner in life and you just want to shout from the rooftops how you're in love. And, I had that same feeling when I came across manifesting and, quantum physics. I just wanted to shout it from the rooftops, and I kind of did. I shouted it all over Facebook how much I was in love with it. But for me, it's exactly the same when it comes to coaching. I have been blessed to work with some amazing coaches, and it has really been such a game changer for my business. And now when my coaching programs with somebody finish, I always feel really sad because I think, oh, okay. And then I go for a little period of time without having coaching. I think, yeah, I've got this. It's going to be fine. And then I realize, oh, I don't know what I don't know. Maybe I do need a coach. And so I'll call my coach and I'll say, do you have any space available for me? Because it's just become something that I've come to rely on in terms of taking myself personally and then my business to the next level. I mean, I absolutely 100% believe that your business is simply an extension of you. It's what you've manifested from your thoughts, from your good intentions, from the way that you wanted to create an impact in the world. But not everybody's on board with coaching yet, and I get that. So I thought it might be helpful today to talk about, from my own experience, why I think you're absolutely leaving money on the table and you're not going to reach your full potential without having somebody in your corner. And I guess, first of all, having a coach allowed me time to work on my business. So we all know in our heads you have to work on the business and not in it. But when you're a solopreneur, for example, or when you're in a startup and you're not just doing the thing that you're passionate about, you're doing all of the things. You're the cleaner, you're the advertiser, you're keeping your own books, you're doing your marketing, you're doing the client work, all of those sorts of things. It feels like there's no time to sit down and actually say, okay, I've got an hour now and I'm going to strategize and I'm going to make a quarterly plan and I'm going to do, no, because you feel like you're playing catch up all of the time because this is just how it goes. And it's such a busy period in the business. And one of the benefits that I experienced was when I hired my first coach, I quickly realized, she was like, oh yeah, okay, now we have to block out an hour for next week. And I thought, oh, I don't have an hour. And so straight away I realized, well, this has to become a priority now. And so from there, I was able to block out that hour, and then I had a really good coaching session. And I am very much an action taker. I get into my masculine energy, and I wanted to go away and implement all of these changes. But sometimes I just, air quotes, didn't have time because I was too busy being swept up in the day-to-day of the business. So a strategy I put in place that you might find helpful with your coach is block off the hour after. or maybe block off 2 hours after if you can. It will be such an investment because you'll have, your 50 or 60-minute consultation with your coach, but then you'll have an hour or 2 hours to actually sit down and process everything, digest everything, map out strategy, do the things that you need to do, and just get it done, because otherwise it's going to be too difficult for you to try and fit all of those things into your existing diary that no doubt is probably very, 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 very full. So that's the first benefit. It forces you to take time out of your week to work on the business. That's benefit number one. The other thing was, I thought that I was nailing it with psychology. I thought that, I've been doing it for 20 years. I feel pretty confident in my approach with my clients and the way that I work. And so I guess sometimes when you're working by yourself, and you don't have anybody sort of working with you, you can, you become a bit of an island and you don't know what you don't know. And one of the really great things about coaching was it taught me that there's a lot I don't know. And it wasn't just about business. Coaching allowed me to uncover strengths that I had within me already that I did not even realize were there. And had I not had a coach, well, these strengths within me would still be dormant and I'd be none the wiser for them. And I wouldn't have had such a big year. 2019 was only I started coaching about 18 months ago, I guess, but sort of starting to take it more seriously and really making it into a proper business over the last little while. But this first 12 months in the business has been just amazing. We've seen phenomenal things happen, and they wouldn't have happened, I don't think, had I not had somebody in my corner saying, go for it. Why not? Yes, give it a go. How would you feel if you did that? All of those sorts of things. So it's really, really powerful because it helps you see opportunities and see possibilities that you might not have seen otherwise. So that's also why it's really, really valuable. Third, it really helped me sometimes to have an outsider's perspective on what was going on in the business. Sometimes it turns out that I do suffer from a case of not being able to see the trees for the forest. And I don't know if you can relate to that. And, things just spin around and around and around in my head sometimes. And I just think, I know this should be easier, or I know this should be clearer, or I know the answer is here, but I just can't see it. And I feel like I'm doing all of the things, but it's just eluding me and I don't know why. But having that session with my coach and being able to, respond to her questions, she guided me through coming to the answers myself. And so that was very, very helpful. And sometimes you need somebody on the outside. Also, somebody on the outside can give you that reality check. There are going to be times in the business where you're celebrating, of course, but there are also going to be times in the business where you're feeling really down on life and you're down on yourself and you're questioning your skill and ability, you're questioning why you started a business. But having somebody on the outside is helpful because they can help you decipher what's real from what's not and help you get some clarity around where you want to be putting your energy in the business. And that is worth its weight in gold because it saves you sleepless nights. And you know what? When you get a decent night's sleep because you're not worried, you function better at work the next day. You function better with your clients. You function better with your team. You write better Facebook posts because you're feeling better. So it's worth its weight in gold for that reason alone. The other thing that I really like about coaching as somebody who's a coaching client as well as a coach, what I really enjoy about it as a client from this perspective is that it gets me into action, okay? Otherwise, I'm still busy and I'm doing the things, but maybe the things that I'm doing aren't the top 5% of things that are generating revenue, for example, or maybe they're not the top 5% of things that are generating impact. Maybe I'm just keeping myself busy because I don't want to delegate, or because I think nobody's going to do it to the way I want them to do it, or because I just feel better about myself when I'm busy because I've got a belief that if I'm busy, then I'm going to be successful, or whatever it is. But getting you into aligned action. And when we're talking about aligned action, we're talking about your coach is somebody that's going to help you take action that marries up with your quarterly goals, or that marries up with your annual goals. So that's the alignment that we're talking about. And of course, you would have already developed those goals in alignment with your brand vision, with your values, with what sits right for you, with your inner north, all of those sorts of things. So getting you into the right action, the right aligned action, is going to help your business get traction. And you need somebody sometimes to come along and say, hey, why are you walking off on that path over there? We're over here on this path. Come and join me over on here. And so you have to get back onto the right track, and a coach will help you do that. So it keeps you really, really focused. The other thing I love about coaching is that it gives you really measurable ROI, or return on your investment. So, I've had this conversation with people before. Sometimes people freak out when they see the dollar amount investment in coaching. And I used to be one of those people too. I think, you all know the story of my first coach, and you all know the story of my second coach. I mean, $15,000. And anyway, that's another podcast, and you've probably heard that already. I'm not going to go into it. But with return on investment, what you want to be looking at is this is how much money I'm putting into a coaching program. What am I getting out of it, or what did I get out of it at the end? And so you can track outcomes for yourself from the coaching program in terms of income generated, projected income, turnover, revenue, expenses, outgoings. You can look at return on investment in terms of hours that you spend working in the business versus on it. You can also look at return on investment in terms of, the intangibles, like do you feel you've grown? Do you feel like you've left that coaching program knowing more about yourself, about where you want to take the business, about the next steps than you did before you hired the coach? Do you have greater awareness around what your clients need? Do you have greater awareness around, a particular challenge that maybe you hired that coach to help you out with? So maybe that was visibility or marketing or something like that. So, there's really simple, easy ways to track the return on investment. And so since I've been doing that, it's now a no-brainer for me to hire a coach. I absolutely make the money back. The last coach that I had, I just paid her $20,000, and I've made that back already. So it's not just about the dollars. It's about looking at your growth in all different areas, and looking at the growth that your business is going to experience across areas as well. So look at measurable ROI. Once you see the gains that you make, it's a no-brainer, and you'll probably end up like me and be a bit of an addict. Like, I'm a coaching junkie. I love it now. I can't get enough, and I'm always on the lookout for a new coach that's going to unlock something else within me, or help me change or grow, or reach my goals in the business. The last thing, and this isn't the last one in the whole world, it's just the last one I was able to come up with, but I believe that when I'm being coached and I'm changing and growing and getting better at business and getting better at life, because I'm learning more about myself, I believe, and I hope this isn't going to sound too narcissistic, but I think that when I'm learning more and growing and doing better, that my team also benefits from that, because I can share my lessons with them and help them grow and help them move along their paths too. I can make changes in the business that the team will embrace and be on board with and feel aligned with too. I feel like when I'm investing in myself and doing the up-leveling myself, again, that help myself, that my clients benefit too, because I become a better coach for being coached. I know, I don't do coaching as a psychologist, but in my other world over there, I am a psychologist, and we all have to have supervisors and stuff like that. And I know from my supervision, I become a better psychologist because I'm growing as a process of participating in the supervision. And I know that has a trickle-on effect to my team. And I know that the benefits of supervision have a ripple effect to my clients. And I think the same thing happens in coaching. And I think if you're not doing it, it's not just you that's missing out. I think your team and your clients miss out as well. And that's probably why your business has stalled. It's probably why it's, kind of feeling like it's hit an impasse, or it's hit that glass ceiling and you're having trouble getting traction moving forward. But there are some ideas that people tend to hold around coaching that stop them from, taking that step. And it's such a shame. Somebody said to me, oh, no, you only need coaching when there's something going wrong in your business. And, my business is going really well. And I thought, okay. I mean, that's so not true. That's like, I don't know, I want to go back over to the psychology analogy again, saying, you don't only need remedial psychology. I mean, isn't it good to be on top of your mental health and going for a checkup once a month and be on top of things and build that relationship with somebody that gets to know you, that can help you identify early warning signs and deal with triggers and all of those sorts of things? It doesn't make any sense to me. Coaching is not remedial. I mean, it can be, and I have heard of, there are corporations in Australia that do, I will say, resort to hiring coaches when they feel that their leaders are underperforming. And perhaps that's where the idea that coaching is remedial might come from. But it's not true. I think coaching is a very proactive service that you engage in that helps lift you. The other thing too that I hear is, your coach needs to be an expert in your field. And that's not true. Your coach doesn't need to be an expert in your field. I've had clients from all different areas. A lot of my clients come from psychology because that's where I'm known. But I've also had, a guy who was a manager of a tire shop. I've had tradies and technicians. I've had hairdressers. I've had people who are doing MLM marketing. I've had a media person. I mean, there are all sorts of different backgrounds that people are going to come to you from, and you don't need to be an expert in all of those backgrounds. A coach isn't there to be an expert in your field and give you advice on what you should do. A coach is an expert in helping you identify the answers you already have within yourself. There are a few different approaches to coaching, but the approach that I like is to, yes, give somebody some guidance, of course, and let them then run with it and do what they want. But it's really around a Socratic questioning style. It's helping somebody, uncover the answers that they already have. It's kind of like saying that you're not going to go to your doctor because he's a man and you're a woman, and therefore what could he possibly know about the menstrual cycle? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You can't go to your psychologist and say, well, I'm not going to see you because you haven't experienced bipolar mood disorder, so you can't help me. No, that's not what it's about. Everybody has training and knowledge in how to help you, so it doesn't matter what your background is. If you're a psychologist, you don't need another psychologist to be your coach. You can have a coach from a completely different industry. It doesn't matter. Their expertise or their area of interest is in the coaching process. It's like counselling. It's a counselling process. You see clients from all different backgrounds. Okay, you don't need to match that person's background in order to be able to help them, and vice versa. For you to be helped, you don't need somebody to match your background. Somebody else said, well, I don't need it. I think, okay, that's, I think when people don't realize that there's always room to grow, that's a problem. That's a real flag. I think there's always room for you to be up leveling, and that's the beautiful thing about coaching. Everybody can benefit from it when you have a coach that's aligned with your values, that gets you, that sees the world through your perspective, and that understands you and what's important to you. I think that coaching can really open the doors to helping you have your own breakthroughs. And the last one is, somebody said to me, oh, well, I've thought about getting a coach, but I feel like I'm already a coach. So if I go and get coaching myself, then I'm going to feel like a bit of an imposter when I'm helping my clients. And that's really important. And that's probably one for a whole other podcast, because what we're talking about here is imposter syndrome. And I know this has been done to death, and I'm sure you can go and search many different people have done loads of podcasts on imposter syndrome. I'm not going to touch it. But I think when you recognize as a coach that, you're trying to sell coaching to other people. So what you have to sell what you believe in. And if you don't believe in coaching, if you don't believe in what you're doing, then nobody's going to enroll with you. And I think in that case, then you probably are a bit of a fraud. I hate to say it, and I don't want to offend anybody, but you've got to believe in what you're selling. And I think you absolutely have to walk your talk. If you, at your core, at your heart, honestly 100% believe the value of coaching, then why on earth would you not go and get coaching if you're a coach yourself? It doesn't make any sense to me. And when you're applying, universal laws and things like that, you get what you put out. And if you're thinking in your own mind, oh, it's not worth the money, it's not worth the time, I'm not going to do it, and yet I want everybody to enroll with me, guess what? Nobody's going to enroll with you, because you're putting out the energy there that it's not worth it. Okay? You have to walk your talk. What's your audience going to think if you're out there saying, oh, go and be coached, go and do this, go and do that, but you're not doing it yourself? They're not going to buy into it. All right, because you're demonstrating that it's not useful and that it's not valuable. And let's be honest, you don't have all the answers and you don't know everything. There's always more for you to know. So by capping that and stopping that energetic flow of knowledge and that exchange of learning and teaching, or learning and sharing, your business won't grow and you won't grow as a person. Okay? But normally I give you some steps to follow through for these episodes, because I want them to be transformational. But I think today I've given you, just from my experience, what I believe the 6 reasons are that you need a coach. And I've also given you some of the myths and misconceptions about coaching, and I hope I've kind of explained them a little bit for you. But look, if you're thinking about coaching, I would, and you're thinking, oh, look, maybe it's not for me, maybe I don't want to do it, I'm still not convinced. That's okay. I'm not here to sell you on coaching. We're just having a conversation about it. But I think, ask yourself, how would things feel differently for you if you had somebody in your corner? What would that then allow you to do? What would open up for you if you had somebody in your corner, if you weren't doing it all alone, if you had somebody on the outside giving you a bit of guidance, keeping you a little bit accountable and helping you stay on track? I would just leave you with that thought. But the other thing is, following on from the last 2 podcasts about planning, I've had requests for planners. So I've put a workbook together and I'm giving it away. And all you have to do to get your copy is leave a review for the podcast on iTunes. And when you've done that, I will see it and I will write back to you and send you a copy of the book. It's called 2020 in Total Alignment, Your Breakthrough Year. And I love it. It's built on all of the spiritual principles. We've got everything in there, and it's got like a day template that you can use, and it's all undated. So you can print it off as many times as you like, and you can collate it if you want to or not. And it's got like heaps of extra bonus goodies in it as well. I love it, and I'm going to be using it next year. And yes, I'm so excited to share it with you. And thank you so much for asking me to put it together. But yes, if you want to grab your free copy of it, go for it. Merry Christmas. Have fun. Just go and leave a review on iTunes and let me know, and I will send it to you. Thank you so, so, so much for listening. I hope this has helped bring some clarity around coaching. And if you have any questions anytime, don't hesitate to send me an email. I'll put my email in the comments for you. Have a beautiful day, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Bye. Thank you so much for listening today. I really hope that you enjoyed it and got a lot of value from it. Help me help others by sharing this podcast. And if you feel called to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, remember to let me know so that I can send you a very special thank you gift. Now go and build your dream business, and I will see you next time. Bye.